torture. It was torturous. If any of you relate the word torture with teaching your kids math, like, drop a comment below. Hey guys, if you've ever found yourself teaching kids math, or if all of a sudden you find yourself teaching kids math and it's not going well, you're gonna wanna listen to this. I have got a story for you. Hey, my name is Peterson, and I am back at you today with a practical tip and how I have navigated around teaching math to my kids. Quick story, I struggled with math. So I was homeschooled, and all of my childhood, finding math that I could understand and that I could do was a real struggle. Memorizing was such a struggle for me. Now as an adult, I realize that I am on the dyslexia spectrum. If I had known that, if my parents had known that when I was a kid, maybe things would have been a little different. I'm not sure. There weren't quite as many resources back then. But it took quite a while for me to figure out a method that worked well. I ended up thriving really well as a preteen and a teenager with Saxon math. Well, fast forward to struggling through college algebra, I finally did it and graduated with good grades from college. And I put that math behind me. So fast forward many years, and I find myself with these little kids who I decided it was important that I homeschool. So I started doing research on like math and stuff, and I decided I absolutely loved a certain math curriculum. It really resonated with me. I'm like, gosh, I wish I'd had this as a kid. And so I launched into it with my oldest, with my son, and it was torture. It was torturous. If any of you relate with torture, the word torture with teaching your kids math, like, drop a comment below, or drop like a high five, or raise your hand emoji, or whatever, because I think I'm not the only one. And I want you to know you're not the only one. Okay, so here we go. Like, I'm teaching him and it's just like torture. He doesn't remember anything. He doesn't like it. It's frustrating, blah, blah, blah. He was having a hard time reading. He was, it was just a hot mess. And I'm like, what is going on? And through a course of, it's a different story, but I figured out, you know what, we all have different learning styles. And even though this is something that resonated with me, it has absolutely does not resonate or make connections with my son whatsoever. So over the years, I've been discovering that each one of my children have their own learning style. I wish it was different. I wish it was easier, but I think that if each of us had been taught to our strengths, to our learning styles, it would have been so much better. So that's what I'm trying to do for my kids. So I discovered this math program. I'm going to share it with you. I am not an affiliate, but I am a fan. So I'm going to share this with you, and that's kind of what shifted us into this new mode of thinking about teaching people math. And that is this program right here. It is called Math You See. This is, I believe, the first level alpha. And what is so awesome about this is I don't actually have to do the teaching, which is awesome. So it comes with a DVD. I'm pretty sure you can stream it online now too, but when we started it was a DVD. See? And on there are all the lessons, and the setup is that you do one lesson a week, and the teacher teaches the lesson, and then there's a book, and every day you go through the worksheets and you work through the principles that you're learning that week, and you also review what you learned in previous weeks, and it all just builds on itself. Also, this isn't it, but there's also a book that comes with like the exact notes of it. So if you as a teacher aren't able to get to the DVD, you can like read through it and see exactly what they're teaching in that lesson. I probably use that never, but it's there if you need it. Okay, but here is a little bit of story. So we discovered this and it was great, but I have multiple children. Sarah, how do you teach multiple children? Well, I'm not gonna lie, it's hard, it's a struggle, okay? It still is a struggle for me, but one of the things I learned was about getting help. So we started doing this and it was great. Then I had a second kid who started doing it and I'm like, oh great, now what am I gonna do? And I realized I really didn't wanna hold my kids back because of my lack of time or commitment, I don't know. But I wanted my kids to just progress a little bit more consistently. So I hired my niece. At the time, she was a math major at the local college, and I hired my niece. She came about 2 or 3 times a week. I can't remember how much we started with, maybe twice a week. She came and worked with my kids, and she would watch the lesson with them, teach them the lesson, and do math with them, and that took the math off my plate, and my kids started progressing through the math so much better. Was I still the homeschool educational facilitator? Yes, I was. I chose the curriculum, I was there to supervise, but I had the help of another teacher, of a tutor. It was the best ever. So that is how I got through teaching multiple kids math. I have since then moved some of my children through different curriculums based on their learning needs and learning styles, but this is kind of where I started and where I learned. Understanding my children's different learning styles was so important, and also I learned that incorporating the help of tutors and other mentors and stuff for my kids was essential. So for those of you who are thrown into teaching your kids at home all of a sudden and you're like, how do people do this? Listen up. You don't do it alone. You don't do it alone, okay? You enlist help. I'm gonna go into this a little bit more, but so for this example of what we did, we had my niece come in and help the kids a couple times a week. Other things are we do online classes, we do computer-based curriculums, and tutoring. So there are so many different options, so I just don't want you to feel like you just have to do it all yourself. And then another plug for this particular program, if you're interested, why Matthew C was so great for a couple of, well actually I think it's great for everyone, but there's particular kids who it's better for, and it is because it's hands-on tactile. And so they take abstract concepts and apply them to actual manipulatives. So when you buy the program, you buy the set of manipulatives, and it's extremely helpful for visualizing and tactile feeling. And so it just puts in audio, visual, and hands-on learning to things that can quite often seem really, really abstract. And so my son, who went from like not remembering things in the program we were using before that just had pictures, just things that you read, to this was a huge difference. So I hope that helps. Tune in again, because I will continue to do this and give you my tips and tricks and the stories of what has helped me as I have navigated these waters of teaching my kids. And if you have anything to share with me, any comments or any helpful advice, please leave it in the comments, because I'm always looking to learn. I'm still homeschooling my kids. I'm still trying to figure out the best ways to educate my children. So I would love any tips that you have. And if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments. I absolutely love discussing this and helping people navigate through this. And I would love it if you would go ahead and like and subscribe this video so you can see more videos like this. All right, guys, we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.